Alright, so here's the deal. I can either, we can do a little live stream on Dana White Contender Series since I'm going head to head with Daddy Dana himself right now as far as viewership goes. Or I can just do these stories first. You guys let me know. Is everybody tapped into Contender? Or should I just do these stories? I'm pulling it up now. The Contender, at least. There's a Diaz versus Hedrick. Diaz versus Hedrick is up. End of the round here. Who we got? Who we got in the building? I'm still setting up a little bit, so let me see what's going on in here. Okay, I got the fight on my phone here. And then I'm going to put the stream on my TV so I know it's good. But yeah, we doing Dana White Contender Series first, or should I cover Ilia Topuria? I'll give it a few minutes before I get into the first topic. Just because the thumbnail is fucking Ilia. So if you clicked in for Ilia, we can get to Ilia first. I think we'll do Ilia, dude. We don't need to do this Contender. Okay. So Ilia Topuria and his wife Georgina Badel have sparked rumors of a divorce. Now, Ilia has one photo of him and his current wifey on social media still. She essentially has none. We can look into it. I got a couple slides here, but we're going to compare both their social medias. I think she's following him. I saw this report yesterday, and I didn't really say much about it as far as like reporting goes because I just wasn't sure. I went to his channel or his her Instagram, and I looked at her followers, and she was still following him and shit. So I was like, oh, they didn't unfollow each other. But everybody's been posting it. Everybody's been picking it up. Ilia posted he's coming back against anyone, which I think is a little bit uncharacteristic, unless a fucking breakup is making him come back, just to show his wifey what she's missing out on. Anyway, he did not deny the rumors. So that's what I'm getting to here. He didn't deny the rumors. He just said he's coming back, which leads me to believe there could be some truth to the whole matter. I mean, this was the picture perfect family. I hear the rumor is she's very wealthy. She invested a lot of money in him because people wonder how his house is so big, all this stuff. I guess she comes from a lot of money. We could be mistaken. I don't know. Now, there's an old video of the Nelk Boys with Ilia Topuria training in his like home gym that's resurfaced from a few months ago, where Ilia revealed that he met his wife in Miami. The boys trolled a little bit. They said, oh, look, put that on whatever like social media what thing they were talking about. You can meet your wife in Miami. Ilia, being the sincere gentleman that he is, he's like, you can meet your wife anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? Having no clue what he's talking about with Miami. And then the other boys are laughing about that joke still. One of the boys goes, wait, that's actually so funny you said that. And then Ilia kind of caught on. He like said it again. He's like, no, man, anywhere in the world. And he's like, wait, why are you guys saying that? So we're about to watch that clip right now. And then we'll see if she still, you know, has him on her social media or not. And then we'll look at his social media. So check this out.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
But you can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, that's right.
Put it on Only in Date. It's hilarious.
Everywhere. But why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. But you don't know the another part of Miami of the people that just they want.
They're normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
Actually, I made my wife and
Ilia straight walked off when Kyle said that thing about walking on the water and shit like that and running. Ilia just like nodded his head and walked off. So he was kind of like privy to it. The subtle slight dissing. Here's a little doom scroll on her socials. No Ilia. Like 0. People are trolling Ilia, saying he was unfaithful to her. He wanted to be like McGregor so bad, all this stuff. Do we know? I mean, shit, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't. If Ilia did it, I ain't looking down on the man. That's not what I'm trying to say. But, like, I would be surprised if he was unfaithful to her. He seems like a good family man. And the rumor is that she's from Miami. So they're kind of saying, like, she wasn't wifey material. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's why I think this clip is resurfacing, because they're thinking maybe she did him dirty. And I'm only presenting that narrative because people are saying he wanted to be like McGregor. He even cheated on his wife. And I'm just saying, you know, people think that she actually was the one who might have ruined things. But I don't know. I don't know. We don't know anything. We don't even know if this is true. I'm just speculating. So if we go to Georgina or Ilia's Instagram, right? Let's go to Ilia, or no. Yeah, let's go to Ilia. Is he following her? Oh, so interesting. Ilia's not following her anymore. Oh yeah, he is. Georgina Bedell. So he's still following her, right? So they do follow each other, and look, he also scrubbed his socials, but he's got one, this one right here, of his wife and his kids, which is beautiful that he didn't delete that. Good man, good family man. He's proud of it still, you know, if they are broken up. But that's the only one he kept. See, we can keep going here. So who knows what the story is, but this was like a massive power couple. I'm surprised they split. Shocked could even be the word, you know. Maybe she didn't like the lifestyle. You know, being with an MMA fighter is a difficult lifestyle. Hey, what up, boys? What up, James? What up, Bane? One of them pulled a Conor to delete all the posts like that. One of them pulled a Conor. Do we know who? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. And actually, that's people have been speculating, like, why did Max Holloway, do his ex-wife so dirty, the mother of his child, and they speculate because she was unfaithful to him. So I mean, that shit happens, you know. James Barrett, hey buddy, what's going on, brother? What's going on, my man? So that's the yeah, see, we're at the end here. I would. That's the end of this, but in other news, since we got the boys in the chat now, do you guys think Ilia's coming back against Gaethje? Or do you think he's coming back against Patty? Because he, you know, he didn't deny the Gaethje rumors. The guy who's reporting on the Gaethje fight with Ilia is pretty official. You know, he's a certified journalist. He doesn't really get info wrong. He's also like the Spanish reporter, so like that's his beat right there. Armand said today on Ariel's show, I saw a snippet, so I don't know the full context, but I believe he said on Ariel's show that Justin Gaethje turned him down for UFC Qatar main event. And so, I mean, if Justin Gaethje turned Armand down for UFC Qatar main event, that's two of the three guys who are in this title contention right now. Armand, Justin, and fucking Patty. So if the UFC wanted to book two of them, it seems like they wanted to give Patty the fight. So what? They're literally going to reward Justin. I mean, I feel like I'm quoting Guru because I watched a video of his yesterday, but it's true. They're literally rewarding Gaethje for bad behavior, for turning down a main event against Armand, right? They're going to give him a main event now. Because at the end of the day, this is the UFC's chit, right? You guys know what a chit is? A chit, like calling in a favor. This is the UFC's chit, right, with Justin Gaethje. This chit with Gaethje has nothing to do, right, with Ilia Topuria's next fight. Ilia taking the fight against Gaethje is redeeming the UFC's favor. That's why I've been saying, I posted a clip. I said Ilia should be like, sounds good. I'm fighting Justin fucking Gaethje. Sounds good, bro. See if I show up. Like, fuck no, I'm not, like, doing your guys' shit. You know? I'm not making up your favor for Gaethje. And if you guys don't know the favor, it's for Gaethje getting flatlined on his face against Max Holloway. The UFC begged him for that fight. He didn't want it. Hunter Campbell showed up to his house, begged him to take it. Gaethje now thinks that with a win over Fiziev, he can call in his favor. In my opinion, the UFC should have gave Gaethje something of fuck you money when he said no to Armand. I believe the UFC should have said, fuck, I think my door's open. 1 second, boys. 1 second. Yeah, that shit was open. I believe the UFC should have said, okay, Gaethje, name your price. Name your price. We'll pay it to you. You know, we need you to fight Armand. We recognize we owe you a favor. We can't give it to you in the form of a title shot, but the next best thing is money. So how much money you want? You know, you want an extra 200 bands? Like, what do you want for this? What do you want, you know, for a new contract? What do you want? It seems like they didn't do that, or Gaethje's morals are crazy, but I don't know why Gaethje would be choosing the belt over money at this point, unless he's that rich. But that's my take on the whole matter. Patty is good, mate. Yeah, Patty's real good, bro. Patty's the best opponent, and like I've been saying, the goalpost is just going to be moved. Once if Ilia knocks out Justin Gaethje, everybody's going to say, oh, yeah, of course he did. Of course he did, because he also knocked out aging Volk, you know, Max Holloway, weight drained, whatever you want to call it. These kinds of things they say. Charles Oliveira with the chin, older too. You know, fight a guy in his prime. Well, we got Patty waiting, ready. We did the Octagon face-off. Like, what are we delaying that for? Would rather watch him fight Armand, but it feels like Gaethje is next. So, Bane, I'm going to hit you with this one real quick. I'm going to hit you with this one. Armand Sarukian, okay? We all believe, and I put out a clip and everyone's acting like, you know, this is public information. It's not public information. Let me lay this out real quick. Let me lay this out. I'll keep Ilya on screen so that people joining know we're at least talking about something related to Ilya here. Let me lay this out. Arman Sarukian says he was too injured to fight, right? In January against Islam. Dana White initially said it was a weight cut issue. So Dana White brought up a weight cut issue, okay? But then he had to take that back because Dana can't be publicly slandering these guys, right? So he can't be saying shit he can't prove. So Dana moved the goalpost from a weight cutting issue to I guess what also happens to be true, which is that Arman could have fought. He could have fought. So Dana says, fuck the weight cutting issue. My thing is Arman said he was too hurt to fight, and I believe the doctors told me that Arman was fit to fight. So where's that gap in the middle? That's what I'm filling in for you guys that nobody's saying. Why is Arman saying he was too hurt to fight? Why is Dana saying he was fit to fight? The reason why is because Arman is exaggerating about the injury. Arman is the one being disingenuous. Arman says I was too injured to fight, when really that's an excuse. He didn't want to fight without the belt being on the line because he was too injured to make weight. Do you see how it's all coming together now? Arman wasn't too injured to fight. Arman was too injured to make weight, which would effectively take the title off the line for him. And he didn't want to go through that whole thing for the title not to be on the line. And so that's why he pulled out. Watch the clip I dropped, me and MTK on the Wednesday podcast. We're talking about this last week. I'm just kind of reiterating it for you. You know, that's why Arman shouldn't really get this shot, because Bane is saying he would rather see Arman get it. But it's like, dude, when Arman did something that dirty, you know, on top of that, you haven't fought in 2 years. Your last win is over Oliveira. Like last year, like in 2024, bro. Like, it's been a long time. Let's see when Arman last fought. Don't even ask me to pronounce that nickname, bro. Okay, so Arman's last win, right, was against Charles Oliveira in April. So we're going on 2 years, boys. This guy's inactive, right? He fights twice a year. This year he fought 3 times. But on average, he's fought twice a year. Okay? 9-2 in the UFC. He's been in here forever. He's been in here for 6 years. 9-2. I mean, he's just inactive. I'm not into the whole Arman thing. He was trying to politics so heavy, right? And it just went all to shit. It went all to shit. He was politicking one of the heaviest out of anybody. Crazy. Yeah, don't even get me to say that one, Aries. That's all you, brother. Problem is, Dana lies all the time. Dana does lie all the time. I could never deny that, but that doesn't mean that everything that comes out of Dana's mouth is a lie, right, Bane? That doesn't mean everything that comes out of Dana's mouth is a lie. And we can all pick and choose. It's everybody's interpretation. But I will lean on the side that Dana was telling the truth about Arman. You know, because he revealed that it was like a weight thing. But I think that was his theory. Like, Dana said that accidentally because that's what I like make up in my head too. When Dana was texting Hunter Campbell and they're like, Arman's too hurt to fight. And then the doctors are like, oh no, Arman can fight. You know what I'm saying? He probably just can't make weight. That's when Dana's like, oh, that son of a bitch. Dana knows the same thing I'm saying. Everybody knows it. Arman's just not admitting it. That's all it is. Yeah, dude, that shit's crazy. Let me give it a go. No, I can't. I can't. Okay, so in other news, we got some other news on the day. Roger Jackson. Okay, we've been wondering, right? What's going to happen with Roger Jackson? And it turns out he's finally been charged. We know what the charges are. He's being charged with a felony, battery, and then a misdemeanor battery as well. 1 count of each. So he's facing 2 charges. Here's some screenshots from an LA Times article that I read it on. It says Jackson will be charged with 1 count of felony battery that caused serious bodily injury and 1 count of misdemeanor battery in connection with an incident at a Knock X Pro Wrestling Academy event in Sun Valley on August 23rd, according to a spokesperson for the LA County District Attorney's Office. Prosecutors will also seek a sentencing enhancement because Jackson allegedly caused Stuart Smith to suffer great bodily injury. Smith, known as Psycho Stu, in the ring, lost several teeth and suffered a laceration to his lip during the attack, which saw Jackson body slam the wrestler and then punch him in the head and face more than 20 times. And here's that big lift off. And here's a slam followed by punches. So yeah, there's going to be a sentencing enhancement, I guess, that they're pursuing. And I bet you, you know what, I bet you Rampage Jackson is regretting calling for jail time for his son now. You know? That's not even, like, that's not to say I condone the shit, but it's just, like, fuck, like, it's not my job, like, shit, like, let's just see if he deserves jail time. Like, that's the thing, like, this is the court's job, like, that's how I always go with it. Like, it's not for me to fucking wish it, let alone being, you know, Rampage's father and shit like that, or Raj's father. And yes, I'll accept it if you guys say I'm copping out by saying it's the court system's, you know, decision. But, like, you know, it's just a gray, you know, it's very gray. It's very gray. Pro wrestling event, you know, we got to keep in mind if Psycho Stu never even touched Raja, this would have never happened in the first place, right? Raja's going to go on a defense of, you know, I thought that this is what wrestling is, right? You mean to tell me this isn't what it is? I was in character, or I just didn't understand, right? We got to see if the wrestlers and the whole academy will go ahead and testify, you know, because who's really pressing charges, right? The state. So the state's going to put all this together without the cooperation of the wrestling academy. Let's see how that works. Will they cooperate or not? That's why it's like, there's no point in, like, you know, demanding this kid gets jail time. There's so much ifs and shit like that. Now, as a father, you got to have his back through thick and thin. Can't wish a week of jail time on your son. It's your job to get him out, regardless of right or wrong. Yeah, let me tell you guys something, because this brings up a great point. It just reminded me of something. When I was younger, I got, like, fucking, I was out late in high school and shit like that, and I was parked in this, like, not illegal parking spot, but, like, I shouldn't have been parked at this pool overnight, right? And I was in my car drinking and shit like that, kicking it. And then, what's it called? Kicking it with someone. Let's just say kicking it with someone, right? And then, what's it called, though? The rent-a-cop, the person who drives around, the security patrol guy, saw me in my car kicking it, called the cops, and then the real cops came. While the real cops were coming, I was, like, chucking beer cans up into the bushes so I didn't get charged with anything, you know, or get in trouble. And then they ended up calling my parents and shit. My mom and my dad came to pick me up. And my dad, like, in front of the cops, right, he had my back. Like, he's like, you good, making sure I'm all good, not taking the cop side, not yelling at me and shit like that. When we got in private, when we got in the car the next morning and shit like that, that's where, like, you know, one-on-one, father to son, I got the shit talk, right? I got the, what the fuck you doing? Like, you're a dumbass and shit like that, right? But in the public eye, even in front of the officers, my dad took my side, you know? And for Rampage to go on Ariel's show and then say what he said, yeah, I thought it was a huge cop-out. Like, a huge cop-out, like, just appeasing the people. Bane says, honestly, you're right. Armand doesn't deserve it, but I still feel like he is the best fighter of the contenders. Now, Bane, that's where you are also right. Because Armand arguably is the best. You know, does Armand beat a guy like Gaethje? Likely, but that's also a tough fight. You know, Armand is a guy... I didn't like how Armand fought Oliveira. I'll just say that. I didn't like how Armand fought Oliveira. How that fight ended with Armand just laying on top of him, hugging him. I just didn't like it. Or no, actually, Charles, I think, was threatening him with an arm triangle, right? Rampage fucked up on that. I'm glad you boys agree with me on that. Because I saw some people commenting, telling me, like, what the fuck? Like, of course he deserves it. Like Rampage is just being real. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he can be real, but to his son in private. How your dad handled that is how every dad should handle it. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I brought that up as an example. Okay. So, yeah, Roger Jackson, he's getting charged now. We can look at like LA Times or something like that. Because there's like a date. So yeah, this happened on August 23rd in basically LA County, Sun Valley. I'm from this area. I don't even fucking know where Sun Valley is. Um, the enhancement, and then so a criminal complaint is expected to be filed Tuesday. Not clear if he's retained a returnee or retained an attorney. And so that's all for Raja at the moment. And that leads us to the one and only Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor receives an 18-month suspension, although it's been retroactive, so he's getting free, like it says in this headline, in March of next year. So he's got about 5 more months, a little bit more than 5 months, 5 months in a few days, you could say. But this guy, I mean, we already know the deal with McGregor. Let me just read this whole thing out. Combat Sports Anti-Doping announced today that Conor McGregor... Oh my god. Conor McGregor of Dublin, Ireland has accepted an 18-month period of ineligibility for a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy. McGregor missed 3 attempted biological sample collections within a 12-month period in 2024, which constitutes a violation of the UFC ADP. UFC athletes are required to provide accurate whereabouts information at all times so they can be contacted and submit to biological sample collections without prior warning. McGregor's missed tests occurred on June 13th, September 19th, and September 20th in 2024 and were each classified as whereabout failures by Combat Sports Anti-Doping under UFC anti-doping policy. Although McGregor failed to make himself available for testing on those dates, Combat Sports Anti-Doping noted that he was recovering from an injury and was not preparing for any upcoming fight at the time of the 3 missed tests. Which, dude, we don't give a fuck, bro. That, like, who gives a fuck, bro? If he missed it when he didn't have a fight coming up. Do you know how many fighters are injured on the roster right now and fucking don't have a fight coming up that are still submitting their whereabouts? Like, what a brain dead ass fucking sentence to write. McGregor fully cooperated with Combat Sports anti-doping investigation, yet after he failed to give his whereabouts 3 times. What the fuck are we doing here? You guys are glazing him up. Accepted responsibility and provided detailed information that Combat Sports anti-doping determined contributed to the missed test. So he gave reasons as to why he missed it, like he was on a boat and shit like that, and they couldn't reach him. We all know that's what it is, bro. And what, that's just a magical excuse? Not only that, but he exited the pool. He hasn't been in the pool. After September 24, right, he was out of the pool anyway. So not only did he miss these ones, but then he was out of the pool for like the last year, pretty much. Like 9 months. And nobody says shit about that, right? But everybody announces he just got back in it recently. But nobody wants to talk about how he just got out of it. For what? For what? There should be a fucking 2-year period for every time you get out of it. It should be increased. Like, what did you do? Why did you need to get out of it, bro? We all have our theories. Now, what's interesting is that... So I saw somebody tweet this, and let me just look it up. Conor McGregor out of Chandler fight, right? I want to know what date this was announced, because you guys can see June 13th. Check this out. So forced to withdraw due to injury on June 13th, right? I want you guys to see this. Damn, did I just exit out of my own fucking article? Oh no, it wasn't on here. It's on here. Okay, look. June 13th, right? He missed whereabouts, right? 2024. June 13th, out of the fight. June 13th, first missed whereabouts. June 13th, McGregor Chandler is now off. What do you boys think about that? Now, where are you going to get this other information from aside from me? June 13th, he missed his first test. Okay? June 13th, fights off. That's definitely not a coincidence, boys. I don't know what the fuck, you know what I mean? But it sure as hell ain't a coincidence. That's for damn sure. Now, the thing that I want to raise question about, because I love a good conspiracy theory, is Chael Sonnen been on record this whole entire time saying we have no proof that Conor injured his big toe. We have no proof that he injured his big toe. Also, wait, when was the date of the canceled press conference? Conor McGregor press conference canceled, right? June 3rd. About June 3rd, the press conference was canceled. So again, what was going on this week? He cancels the press conference, right? No reason was given. No reason was given. Okay, let's break this down. Conor goes ahead and cancels the press conference. At the time of cancellation, no reason was given. Then Conor releases a statement that says, in consultation with the UFC, today's press conference was canceled due to a series of obstacles outside of our control. I apologize to my Irish fans and fans around the world for the inconvenience and appreciate all your passion and support. Can't wait to put on the greatest all-time show in the Octagon. Right? And then, after no showing the press conference, McGregor announces he's out of the fight on the same day he misses a drug test. Do you guys think that Conor, A, it was drugs, or B, he was injured? What do you guys think it was? Because it not only was he injured, right? But if he was injured, he would have no need to miss a drug test. Do you understand what I'm saying? If he had broke his big toe, fine, great. Break your big toe. It's broken. 10 days later, on June 13th, when the doctors come, you whip it out and you piss in that cup, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with the big toe. So why did you miss it? Did you, like, are we really supposed to give him the benefit of the doubt and just be like, oh, he crashed out. He just, like, mentally was unstable and had to go on a yacht after he broke his toe, and that's why he missed it. And then that's why he pulled out of the fight. Because keep in mind, Conor McGregor is the same guy who fought with, you know, all kinds of injuries in his career. This is what he's notorious for. And he was out because of a big fucking toe. And how much shit did he get from his peers saying, wow, a big toe, a big toe, a big toe? So I'm just raising the question for everybody here. We can go over the timeline again. June 3rd, press conference canceled, no explanation. Okay? June 13th, fight canceled on the same day that he misses a drug test. My biggest question, why miss a drug test just because you broke your big toe and had to pull out of a fight? Not only that, when you said you broke your big toe, when did he announce he broke his big toe? Was that on this day? Yeah, Conor claimed an injury on this date. And Chael Sonnen called bullshit. Because McGregor claimed injury on this date when fucking McGregor missed a drug test on this date. How do you claim injury on a date that you fucking miss a drug test? Please tell me that. And then you go on to miss two more. September 19th, September 20th. Like, they're trying to get you 2 days in a row you weren't there. Make it make sense. Gonna be hard to, but I'm giving you guys all those facts right now. This was a clout chase news from Ariel. That's why he broke, but it's irrelevant because he's not fighting without that dude. And plans on fighting on the White House, and he'll definitely be eligible by then. Yeah, he'll be eligible by White House. But my question is deeper than that, if that makes sense. But he'll definitely be available for White House. Let's see if he headlines, though, because Mighty Mouse is saying he's not deserving, and neither is John Jones. I would like to see, you know, like Pereira headlining White House against the winner of Gone Aspinall. Does coke count as a drug? It for sure does. I don't think you can test positive for coke. Coke and steroids was never a secret. I mean, it's like public information to us, but like, you know, like it is kind of a secret amongst Conor. But we all know. Rare W conspiracy from Chael. I know. I always hear Chael. He's always saying Conor's talking about a fucking X-ray on his toe that we never seen and a photo without his face in it. Like Chael's calling out how there's no proof. And I mean, shit. I'm gonna say that Conor pulled out because he missed a drug test, not because he fucking broke his toe. Interesting insight. The injury might have been fake. Yeah. We never saw anything, right? We never saw Conor in a boot. We never saw any of that shit. So that's the full juice on this one. This was an amazing find though. And yeah, March 20th. So he's good for he's good for UFC White House if he wants to be on it. But my thing, dude, can Conor put together a fight camp? I mean, we got a better chance of getting John Jones on UFC White House than fucking McGregor. If we're just keeping it a stack, if we just set everything aside, right? Personally, I think McGregor might be better off in BKFC for a fight. Hit up BKFC for one fight and then leave and like build off of that fight camp you did for BKFC and maybe like finish off your UFC contract. But Conor needs to do like a pre-camp and like a different competition format that's not MMA. Because there's no way he makes it through a full MMA camp. There is a way, but I'm gonna say there may not be a way. Yuri Prohaska, Mr. Number One Contender. Yeah. Check out that smirk, boys. So let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen here. To be honest, I don't know. I think it could be Pereira's decision. If the UFC says, "Oh, no super fight, whatever, blah blah blah," then they're gonna be like, "Just pick Prohaska or Olberg," and Prohaska will probably pick. I don't know. Or no, sorry, Pereira will probably pick Olberg, I was going to say. But if you saw some of the videos, I mean, Pereira's team is very friendly with Prohaska, and they would be down to run it with Prohaska too. So, light heavyweight, you already know the deal. Hell no, he can't get through a fight camp. He's never fighting again in his life. Shout out Bane. That's what I love to say, right? I always put it in the polls and shit. An option, he's never coming back. Yeah, we won't forget the narrative, Conor. You're never coming back, brother. That's the narrative. He's never coming back. Let me see if I got some other topics. Let's go to X real quick. Okay, so let's do this one more. Let's do one more. Y'all think Dustin fighting at UFC White House? Nah, I don't. Let's do what was the? Oh yeah, Corey. Oh, maybe we got to get it on here. I don't think we'll see Poirier. What do you guys think though? And I think, dude, we're gonna probably see like something better. We're gonna see like a Pereira or like an Aspinall, heavyweight, something good for UFC White House. I don't think we're doing. I mean, and if anything, it's gonna be John Jones. It's not gonna be McGregor headlining White House.
Congrats to Marab for almost doing what he said he was gonna do, but not quite. So good on him. He's a good face for the division. I'm proud of that dude. I absolutely still believe in myself and that I'll be champ. Delusional. Yep, pretty much. And that's okay. Believing in yourself is part of the damn job. And I'll never stop thinking that I'm going to touch gold. Peace. I love you guys. Bye.
What do you guys think about the whole like peace, I love you guys thing? Notice I never do that. I mean, you guys know I love you guys, but like every time, like I was about to say something so positive about Corey. I know Corey was, working on that confidence going into the fight, and like it was this newfound thing that we kind of aren't familiar with. But respect to Corey at the end of the day. He talked his talk and he stood on business. He fought the best fight he could. He gave it his all. Is it a winnable fight for him? It's a tough hill to climb, but to be honest with you, he showed improvement, a little bit of improvement. He showed more improvement from that Umar fight, that loss, than he did in this one. So he is progressing just small bits. It's like on the Umar one, he stayed down on his back a lot. On this one, he got up. So like there's small things to gain from it. And the next one, maybe don't get knocked out and kind of win, maybe the second and try to win the third or something like that. But overall, Corey has nothing to be ashamed of. He's still fairly young in the game, so he can do his thing. And maybe contend, I don't know, one more time. Him versus O'Malley, though, I'm going to keep saying it. Him versus O'Malley, run it. It's time. They're both coming off losses. We need some more USA contenders bad. Yeah, well, we got Jacoby Smith we could put on there. We got Joaquin Buckley to put on UFC White House. I mean, these are especially Buckley. We need Buck on UFC White House. We could do Buck versus Brady. We'll see where we're at next year. But Brady only gets that fight when we want it. We're fighting Brady on our time. Because Brady has nothing to offer. I feel they go straight American route. They should. Sean Brady had to think of his name. Yeah, I know. Him and Bilal. I think Corey should go to 145 at this point. I know Pfeiffer is going to get it. Yeah, Pfeiffer is going to get it. There's some decent ones. Corey could be on there. Corey versus O'Malley. 2 American fighters. Corey versus O'Malley. Yeah, Corey and Sean on the White House. Let's go. There's some great fights we could put on the White House. 100%. The main event might not be, but like I don't know. Marab's our American champion, but we can't have a 135er doing it. All right, boys, that's the stream. That's the stream. Shout out to everyone who tapped in. We got the Wednesday show tomorrow, so I'm gonna keep it slightly brief today, just so that we have some topics to hit on tomorrow, like Ankalaev injury. We could talk about Mighty Mouse saying that Jones and Conor aren't deserving. There's like an update on Conor and Dana. Dana saying Conor hasn't signed for White House and all this stuff. So we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. And then we'll also talk about Strickland calling out Fluffy tomorrow. Dana said this would be UFC 300 level of a card. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, let's get it. All right, boys. Peace out, boys. Peace out. Peace out. See you guys tomorrow. Shout out everybody watching. Like the video too, so that we can get fucking extra views.